I want to welcome you again. We've welcomed God today, and the guys have welcomed you, but I also want to welcome you, and a special welcome to all of you joining us from Hagley and from Rowley and from Clibbery, and those of you joining us online as well. I want to kind of begin today by asking you this question. Have you ever been in a mess, and in that mess, you knew that there was something that you could do or say that actually would make that mess messier? Like there's a whole load of options that come up, like, in your mind, like a whole kind of option on a screen. And you know every single one of those responses to the mess would probably make the mess messier, right? You've all been there. We've all been there, haven't we? And the question is, you see, what happens is that all these different options come, and it's things like this: borrow more, lie more, cover up more, pretend more, ignore more, deny more. And all the time we do those kind of responses to the mess we're in, the mess only gets messier. What if there was a question that we could ask, which if we asked the question, would actually change the outcome of the mess? You see, the word that I want us to look at is this word, Messier. Now, I know that's not how you spell Messier. For those of you that write in and email in, I know that. But I'm trying to make a point. It's the that I want to talk about. Because the that makes Messier is what happens when we respond to the mess the wrong way. And you see, there's one question that you and I could ask. And if we ask this question in every mess of our life, whether it's our mess, whether it's someone else's mess that they've dragged us into, so now it's become our mess, whether it's financial, whether it's relational, whether it's professional, whatever it is, if we ask this one question, it would change everything. And so I asked Alison in the week, hey, could you think of a time when I was in a mess and I did something that made the mess messier? And she just laughed. She laughed outright, okay? This is the truth. She said, every time you try to tidy a room, every time you try to tidy a room, it's messier than when you began. And I was a little bit affronted. But then I realized I do resemble that remark. That is absolutely true. That's what because what I do is I take all the mess and I move it all around and just put it in a different kind of mess. But, that's fine with a room, but what about with a life? What about with a life? So here's the question we're asking. The one question you should always ask is the title for today. The one question you should always ask. And here it is. Here's the question. What story do I want to tell really? You see, when you're in a mess, the story is not so much about the mess, it's about your response to the mess. What story do I want to tell really? The other side of this, when I look back on the mess, what story do I want to tell? Do I want to tell the story where I was in so much debt that I just borrowed more and got deeper and deeper into debt? Do I want to tell the story whether I was in this situation where someone hurt me and what I did was I took revenge and I got my own back and it just got messier and messier and messier? Or do I want to tell a different story? And if you're a follower of God today, what does God want that story to be of my one and only life? What story do I want to tell really? And before I open this up, I want to do a quick recap on last week. And as we said last week, this is a talk from North Point from Andy Stanley. We're a partner church, so they've given it to us. So we're using some of his content. And one of the things that he said that I brought to you last week was this. Here's the whole thing about mess. I know a mess when I see one because I am one. Anyone said that to themselves this week? I challenge you this week. When you see someone, thank you for that hand on the second row there. I know a mess when I see one because I am one. We're not meant to be critics of others. We're meant to be students. What can we learn from others? Because we're a mess as well. And then we went on to say, here's the thing that puts us all on the same path together. The mess that brings us together is the mess that brought God near. It's our mess. And we remember last week we talked about our family mess and our mess and the royal family mess. And you think they're two different ends of the spectrum, but we're all on the same page together. We all have mess, but it's our mess. The mess that brings us together is the mess that brought God near. And here's the truth about God's mess, us and mess that we said last week, that actually God loves us exactly as we are, but too much to leave us exactly as we are. He wants us to change. And the third little idea from last week was our mess is a lens through which we discover God. Now, for the next couple of weeks, we're going to unpack this one a lot more. Our mess is a lens through which we discover God. You see, when we find ourselves in a mess, if we don't ask that question, we will respond to one of the other bad options that come up in our mind.